Well, you definitely will show up as among the top leaders in HR. And you've seen this profession evolve. I mean, talk about personal management, talk about human capital management, HR management, and who knows, and the many other names that have come up now. So let's look at that and also the way that HR was thought of as just being the orphan box and how it's evolved to date.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, of course, I've watched with keen interest how the profession has evolved. I think I was one of the lucky ones to have worked in a profession which is ended up having multiple names along the way, starting from personnel management, you know, then human resource management. Now we're saying, no, let's talk about people. Oh, and then other people are calling it all forms of things, which is okay. But I think for me, it is less about what you call the function. It's about what the function delivers. And I think I've seen three key trends over the last 2 decades, let me put it this way. That yes, like you rightly said, Laban, I think we came from a space where HR or personal management, as it was called, was the team that hires and fires. Yeah. It was very normal to say, oh, so you're personal manager, so you're the guy who hires and fires. Yeah. And we used to like that, by the way. It was powerful. But the truth is, I think it increasingly meant that you were a back office function, which was providing some support if you are asked to, otherwise do some basic policeman work of, who has come late, who has made an offense, and take action about it. Yeah. But thank God, I think the universal trend has been that increasingly the leaders of organizations, business leaders for that matter, have realized actually how much organizational capability can be built through a strong human resources function. I think part of the conversation has always been, in the profession has always been, oh, we need to get HR, human resources, to the boardroom. And actually that happened over the last 1 year. We saw organizations scrambling to hire top-notch HR directors because they really want to get them into the boardroom. And true, it happened because it was like, yeah, but think about it, it was tokenism. Because these HR directors will go into the boardroom and listen and watch the action, but actually, there was nothing to show after that meeting. And so, in the last decade, what has happened is for HR professionals and CEOs start saying, okay, when you're in the boardroom, how do you add value? And now it is evolved to the extent that actually HR has become not just business partner, as we used to call it, but now is part of the business. Because some of these organizations today, like tech companies, what is the business? The business is the people. It's a people business. Because without people, to look at the big fours, look at consultancy firms, what is business? It's the people. Without the people, you have no consultancy firm. And so I think it was a no-brainer that HR was bound to move in this direction. But I think we've gone now to another level, and a number of organizations, HR professions are struggling to get there. But I'm glad to say most CEOs are getting it.
In managing this diverse workforce and seeing these trends, I see that the need for leaders is now more critical, more than ever.
So spot on, Laban. Yeah. To the extent that actually, if there was an HR leader who was hiding, behind the walls, they were exposed this time. Because it was all about people, and it wasn't about just connecting the mind of the employees, but their hearts. And this is where we saw, not just as HR leaders, but even organizational leaders, all of them, going through a crash MBA on how to connect with the people with all the highest level of vulnerability, authenticity, and sharpening their listening skills. But who was being at the forefront of rallying leadership around what now mattered, which was keep sanity in the organization, keep people engaged, even when they're working from home. And this is where HR leaders stepped up to actually get into the driver's seat and get everybody to believe that there was hope, that actually you have a workforce for today, but which could also be part of the future, and who will enable the organization to not only survive, but thrive and continue growing. And we're seeing many organizations flourishing, by the way, even after COVID.
One would argue that, challenging the HR professionals is that they just don't come to the table.
So, of course, we've been flooded with all sorts of training courses and motivation speakers in the HR field talking about, oh, HR, you have to be the boardroom. When you're the boardroom, you have to be relevant. It's speak the business language, etc. It's all nice, but a good part of it has been rhetoric. I think the reality is that whether you like it or not, the business is now asking HR to actually lead on many spheres. The first one is, of course, understanding the global trends. And I think HR has been very positioned to know what's going on out there. And so one of the first pieces of advice to the HR leaders is to be connected with the world, what's happening globally. And by doing the environmental scan of the trends, especially as it relates to consumer and customer trends, and then what does that mean for our culture, then be able to be stewards of the transformations organizations need. As I said, to survive and to thrive. The second thing is really being able to do a diagnostic and internal scrutiny of the capabilities we have today and the capability we need for the future business. And so they are the ones to really steward the conversations around connecting the as-is and the to-be. And that is a huge conversation, from really thinking about the culture to think about risk profiling, thinking about actually what kind of upskilling and reskilling of the current workforce we need, thinking about digital transformation to the extent of crowding in opportunities like AI, the bots, robots, chatbots, and all. So literally getting talent to connect with technology.